Hi, friends, and happy Thursday. Welcome to the show. Welcome to today's live level up conversation. We have so much to talk about. So, before me starting off, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's live discussion.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. I'm Winnie, your host, an award winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. And we are streaming here live on many social media platforms. So, a big hello to wherever you're joining me from. It is so great to see you. If you don't mind, come in and say hello. Let me know where you're joining me from, of course, how your week is going as well. I'm sure it's been a busy week. Can you believe it's already Thursday? I know time is a flying. Well, let's take a look and see where the market is currently. Now, note that we're coming into you a little bit later than normal today, so we've only got about 20 some minutes left before the market closes. But the Dow is currently on the positive, up 81 points. The Nasdaq is down 19 points, and the S&P 500 is currently down about 1 to 2 points as well currently. Right, so there's still a little bit of time left, but not that much. But then it's been quite a bit of news on the business front that I want to share with you. And this really, the first story I want to share with you comes from our friends at CNBC, talking about Nvidia and how they've been now successively has surpassed Apple in market value. This is true. Well, thanks to the AI boom, Nvidia has now overtaken Apple to become the second most valuable public company here in the United States. And of course, that's because of so much of the popularity as it relates to artificial intelligence which is AI. And they have now hit officially the $3 trillion market cap level after a very significant rise in its price, really just behind Microsoft, which obviously Microsoft benefited quite a bit because of AI as well. Now, NVIDIA holds an estimated 80% market share in artificial intelligence chips for data centers, and its data center revenue, in fact, soared year over year, soaring above 427%. So, very big numbers. Congratulations to them. But on to more things, AI. We want to talk about now another story that came out of the New York Times pertaining to U.S. government um, re- regulations and, of course, issues of antitrust investigations into several AI giants. In fact, regulatory deal has been reached. The Justice Department and the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, have tentatively agreed to investigate some very dominant players in the AI space. Now, we're talking NVIDIA, we're talking Microsoft, and OpenAI in the AI industry. Now, this investigation is going to be into NVIDIA's conduct, while the FTC is going to examine Microsoft and OpenAI's practices. Now, the investigation does highlight concerns over the potential of a monopoly on these by these companies, especially as it relates to AI technology, which we know is evolving so quickly, even just in the last few months. So, similar to what they've done in past for companies such as Google and Amazon, these moves do signal just sort of that continuation of the Biden administration's efforts to regulate mega tech or big tech. So Nvidia, which is, as you know, a key player in AI chips, seeing their market cap just surpass $3 trillion, now becoming the second most profitable company in the United States, of course, raising concerns about the dominance in the AI space and, of course, their business practices. So Microsoft has significant investments in OpenAI and the integration of artificial intelligence in its products. So they're being reviewed as well. So let's see what happens there. We'll have to follow that story pretty closely and just see how that relates, right, to the things that you and I are seeing right before our eyes in terms of developments, new technologies, and whether it be, AI writing and chatbots and every element of our life, like how much will that grow, and how much is too big, and how much is too much dominance in one particular company, and most importantly, is it beneficial for companies such as the ones that we just listed to continue to evolve and invest heavily, or does it make sense to have the technology distributed amongst more companies? That's really something for you to answer. So definitely let me know, put your comments in, and let us know how you think about that. A big welcome, of course, to Joshua joining us on YouTube Live. Hello, CrossX Fighters. Great to see you. Let's talk about, though, how you can opt out of some AI. In this particular case, you might not be able to. So, some people have been talking about opting out of Meta using, get this, your posts for AI training. So, if you post on Facebook, if you post on Instagram, you may have thought about this. Well, Andrew Langson at CNET shared this story that Meta's AI data source, Instagram, Facebook posts are actually being used by Meta to help train its AI models. This was stated in their recent privacy policy. And so you might be wondering, like, can I opt out of this? Well, currently the answer is, if you're joining us live right now in the United States, the answer is no. However, I know many of you join us from the UK and Europe and other countries. Now, currently, European users are able to opt out of this, of their data being used due to GDPR regulations. But currently in the United States, that's not the case. But if you are in Europe, this is what you'll want to do. You want to head over to the settings page on Instagram or Facebook, and then go to their privacy policy. And then from there, you're able to go through and click the link to the right to object form, so that your information won't be used. You have to fill out the form with your country of residence, your email address, and of course, the reason that you object to them using your posts in part of their AI training. Now, it's important to note, of course, that AI is only capable of evolving by receiving good data. So that's why we've heard a lot of large news publication agencies and whatnot saying that they're not comfortable with AI grabbing data from them, because perhaps, they're not being compensated, right? For example, the New York Times or CNBC, all that hard work going to write the articles, collecting the data, collecting numbers and information and statistics, and they feel like that if you're going to use that technology to better your tool for AI, which we know is um, also many companies charge a subscription on that, that there should be some compensation to those that you grab the data from. So that's sort of the story behind that. All right. So I want to talk to you about something else. So, and this is not AI, but I still think it's interesting and maybe a sign of times. And in some ways, it's kind of sad. And it comes from us here in California, in fact, by KTLA, by Josh DeBose, has a story talking about some California retailers and what they are doing now to combat shoplifting. Get this is big. So, retailers such as TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods in Southern California, some of their locations now have equipped their security staff with cameras. These cameras are similar to what you would see that police or law enforcement wear. So, these security personnel will be clearly marked with vests, indicating that they're going to be recording, and they're looking to discourage potential thieves at these stores. Now, some customers are finding that this approach is too aggressive, while others think that this is a good idea, because if it decreases shoplifting and it makes a safer environment for all people to come into stores, I think that's a great thing. So, consumer reporter David Lazarus with KTLA notes that existing security cameras really haven't stopped sort of these flash mob robberies, and they really sort of question the effectiveness of these body worn cameras. But nonetheless, these companies are testing them, they're using them, and they're also emphasizing that their policy is just using these to enhance the safety of both customers as well as their employees, as they're seeing rising violent theft incidents. Really sad. I'm curious to see how you feel about this, because I will tell you, I was just talking to my youngest son. He's only 10. He's little, right? And we're looking to get him new shoes for school for next year. And there's a lot of sales going on and talking about that. And I said, just the next time we're, near the mall, we'll pop into the shoe store. We'll go in and we'll let you pick and make sure they fit you just right. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know that I want to go to a store and you get my shoes. And I said, why wouldn't you want to go in and don't you want to see, the colors and make sure you like them? He's like, no, I don't think they're safe. And I said, why don't you think they're safe? And he said, well, I heard in school that like people get killed like going to the shoe store. And I thought that was so sad. But these are some of the concerns that children are talking about at school. In his school, they just happen to be talking about this. And that's not a good thing because this is the next generation. You're talking about Generation Z, you're talking about Generation Alpha. If they continue to not feel comfortable and safe going into retail stores that you and I have gone to for years, well, it just means that there's going to be more and more movement over to online shopping, right? Because there's another reason not to go out. But nonetheless, the company here is talking about how these recordings from these body worn cameras, they said, don't worry, they're not going to be shared with law enforcement or anywhere else unless under legal subpoena. So they said that you should feel comfortable shopping there and maybe your image will still be protected. It's not going to get out, hopefully. And so this initiative that they're showing, I just thought it was interesting. I mean, that's sort of like that next level. It's like now they have security guards at stores. So we know about that. But now the security guards are not only going to be there, but they're also going to have body cameras on them. It's a lot. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when we heard like stores like Walmart. Like I heard somebody was saying at certain Walmarts, you can't even buy cough medicine. You actually have to have someone help you unlock to get it because people were stealing quite a bit of it during the sort of middle part of the pandemic. Yeah, yeah. Cross X Fighter is saying that's awful. It really is awful. But unfortunately, that's how it is. But speaking of not awful, of course, we couldn't end the week and the show on that. Let me tell you about what's happening this week, which is kind of fun. This is, believe it or not, my friends, this is the week of National Donut Day. That's right. So this is being shared on CNBC as well, talking about, well, if you're a donut fan, let me just tell you, I've got several donut fans in my household. This week is tomorrow, Friday, June 7th, is going to be National Donut Day. And so, to give you an idea of the history of National Donut Day, this was created by the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army 86 years ago to honor what they called their donut lassies. Now, these were women who volunteered during World War One when they traveled to France to care for wounded soldiers and to boost morale. They would make donuts. So that's where National Donut Day came to be. So for those of you who thought it was just another way for these donut companies to sell donuts, I guess there's a little bit of history behind this special national day. So let's talk about what's going to happen. Now, if you have a Duck Donuts around you, you're up for a free cinnamon sugar donut. And you just have to jump in, go into the store, and you get a free cinnamon sugar donut. Well, if you have a Dunkin' Donuts, you can receive a free donut with the purchase of any drink while supplies last, they said. Now, Krispy Kreme, you can get a free donut, one per customer at all participating U.S. locations, available in store only. Like I would think it would be in store only. I mean, you can't really get a donut virtually, can you? But anyhow, it excludes specialty and limited time donuts. I'm guessing it's just their standard glazed donut, but that thing's good. My kids think that the best donut is actually a Krispy Kreme standard issue glazed donut. Let me know what you think about that. Are they right or are they wrong? Okay. There's also a place called Shipley Donuts. Not familiar with that here in California, but maybe you are. Shipley Donuts says free donut with any purchase as well. A place called Voodoo Donuts, a dozen pink raised glazed donuts for $10. What makes a donut pink? Like I guess it's a frosting. But so you can get a dozen of that for $10. You can also pre-order them by calling them. But yeah, this is a big thing. National Donut. day is coming up. Yeah, Cross-Eyed Spider loves eating donuts. I'm guessing many of you who are joining me here still watching the show are thinking that as well. Let's talk about how the market's doing as we're about to close in just moments here. The Dow is currently on the positive up 71 points. The Nasdaq is down 23 currently, and the S&P 500 is down about 3.5 points currently. Thank you so much for being a part of today's Level Up Live. Do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest business finance content. Of course, to watch previous episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun, you can check out NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And for those of you who shared the show, thank you so much this week for sharing the show. And if you do, make sure to tag at Winnie Sun so I can properly thank you on a future episode. A big shout out, of course, to Joshua always, and actually Joseph this week as well, Sabrina, Marianne, let's see. I think Samir also shared, and I think Amir as well. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate you doing so. And if you're going on a road trip anytime soon, make sure to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, which you can find on Apple Podcasts or a podcast network that you like to tune into. With that, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I'll be catching you again next week with more business finance content. And of course, anything else that's hitting your radar that you want to let me know about, definitely send me a direct message and I'll check that out. And of course, In the Loop will not be coming on tomorrow because we both have projects that we're working on. Actually, one of something that we're working on together as well. And so with that, we will see you again next week. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye now.